Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Quick one for you today because I'm very lazy and very tired after overindulging on the weekend. And, well, hopefully you're going to enjoy this because it's quite an amusing replay. This was sent in by Rada. He's in the Centurion 7-1, and what you're actually looking at here is a predicted 17, that's a 1 and a 7% chance of winning for Rada's team. And you can always tell the people who have XVM installed when XVM predicts this kind of win rate, because they're already celebrating in chat or moaning about it in chat before the countdowns even ended. Now, the thing that you have to remember about XVM's predicted chance of win or loss is, well, first of all, it's just a prediction. You can always buck the odds, and secondly, it's not saying you have a 0% chance to win, it's saying you have a 17% chance to win. So that means in this kind of situation, this team is going to win 17% of the time. It's not going to lose every time. It doesn't mean you have to give up right at the start of the match. Yes, you're probably going to get your asses kicked because, well, Rada's team isn't that bad. You can see the colour-coded WN8 ratings of the various players, and orange is average. Yellow is slightly above average. There's a very good STA1 driver, a fairly good T28 driver, and that's it. Nobody's particularly bad. The problem is the enemy team is generally particularly good, and that's why XVM's calculated their chance of success here at only 17%, but that's still 17%, not 0%, so there is still something to fight for. Having said that, however, I do have to concede that you can kind of see why XVM is saying, yep, this is a 17%er, when you look at the way the team are deploying. They've got a Jagdpanther 2, a tier 8 tank destroyer who's gone alone into the town in a tier 10 match. I don't fancy his chances of winning. They've just lost their Leopard prototype as well, who tried to scout around the lake and ran into a T-44 and obviously got lit up by the enemy tank destroyers on the ridge just to the south of the town. And that's it. They've basically abandoned the town completely. None of the big guns have gone in. They're all just sitting by to defend the base. They've already anticipated losing this, and they're taking up defensive positions, but the medium tanks down here in the southern end of the map, and, well, not just the mediums, there's an M103 down there as well, and a couple of the tank destroyers are really going for it down here. T62A there. They've got some opposition though. This is pretty much where most of the enemy team have pitched up as well. Unsurprisingly, the Jagdpanther 2 is dead. Saw that one coming a mile away. The enemy team now completely control the town, so the big guns up to the north, and there are not that many of them, are digging in, standing by to defend the base. So it's all going to be down to the guys down here at the southern railway bridge. Now, this bush is a good spot for a Centurion 7-1. Very accurate gun, good gun depression. Angled back like this, nobody's ever going to penetrate his upper glacis. He can keep his lower glacis covered up, and he's got that bouncy turret front, but you can't really sit here forever, not when the rest of your team are pushing forward aggressively. This is the only way. When your team have deployed like this and they've just abandoned the town completely to the enemy, you have to push and be aggressive down here in the south. And there's a very unfortunate enemy Leopard prototype who, yeah, he's just getting shot at by everybody, and his tracks are gone and he's now dead. Can't afford to hang around though. The guys up front here need some support, and look at everybody pushing forward here. I mean, even the T28 prototype tank destroyer, they're all getting stuck in. Good hit there on the AMX 5100. They've killed him, but they've lost another 2 tanks. The scores, however, are even, 4-4. Rada moving up. He's going to have to start working the ridge line up there against all of those enemy tanks underneath the second bridge. T28 prototype there taking a couple of hits. T62A falling back. Rada's been spotted. M103 and T34 have managed to get up onto the corner. That's a good spot for the T34 as long as artillery leave them alone. Oh, and this was unlucky. That would have been a perfect shot right into the lower glacis of that Centurion, but the gun bucked up at the last second and it just ricocheted ineffectually off his angle back up the glacis. He goes for the Type 59. The Type 59 is the statistically best player on the enemy team. Takes a hit from the M103 doing it, but that Type 59 is now a one-shot kill. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, okay, he might be a good player, but he's only in a Tier 8 medium tank in a Tier 10 game. Well, you'd be surprised what a good Tier 8 medium tank can do, even in a Tier 10 game. Keep an eye open for the friendly STA-1. There he goes. Right place, right time, right tank. Straight behind the M103, starts putting shots into his engine block. M103 turns around, gives Rada the chance that he needs. STA-1 using that M103 as cover from the Centurion. The Centurion's now turned around. Everybody's turned around, and the rest of Rada's team are now piling shots into the backs of these two. And that STA-1, what a play. That was the game-making play. When the STA-1 went around the back like that and just wreaked havoc with the enemy team. And look, it's just a graveyard of enemy tanks. That was a great play from the STA-1, but at the same time you can't take anything away from the rest of the team, because, well, how many times have you been in that exact situation? It's usually a medium or even a light tank, where you've committed yourself, you've gone full tilt at the right time, expecting your team to take advantage of it and back you up, and they all just sit there on the other side of the ridge, wait for you to die, and then resume popping over the ridge and getting their lower glacis shot up every time they do it by the enemy team who have just killed you, with great amusement, while the rest of your team just sit there and do nothing. Didn't happen this time. STA-1 driver took a hell of a risk, but his confidence in the team was justified. And here's something else that you so rarely see in random battles. The team are actually communicating with each other. The guys who were defending the base and the heavies and the big tank destroyers are actually saying, okay, go for the cap, but wait for us to give you some support from the other side. They've guessed that the enemy team are now going to be forced to come back and try to defend the cap, and they are. And they're now pushing into the town so that they can come up from behind and catch the remaining enemy tanks in a pincer movement. Communication, teamwork, in a random battle, with a 17% chance to win. What the hell's going on? And yet, you're watching it happen. Miracles do happen, even in World of Tanks. And sure enough, the enemy team are coming back. But nobody on Rada's team, despite what their stats would have you believe, is dumb enough to sit in the middle of an open cap circle while there are enemy tanks shooting at them. Instead, they're taking advantage of the terrain and the concealment to just catch the enemy team in a nutcracker. And here come the heavies, the E100, the Jagdpanzer E100. Oh, big old hit, another big old hit. That ISU is not having a good day. Is he going to get the killing blow? Nope. But here comes the enemy E100. There's only 3 of them left. There's enemy artillery, but don't worry, the artillery's going to suicide, because, you know, he's a scumbag with no more right to live on God's clean earth than a virus. Actually, Jingles, a virus isn't a lot. Shut up. Did you hear the sizzle, by the way, from the E100? Yep, he's trying to buy his way out of trouble, firing heat. Oh, and he derps it into the gun mantlet. Okay, come on, Rada, you've got this guy. You're going to reload before him. Just make sure it penetrates and hope you don't get a low damage roll. So he gets a criminally low damage roll. Oh, great. Oh, well, you can't win them all. But hey, your team will avenge you. And they've won. 17% chance to win. I do love seeing this kind of game. I love seeing the underdog fight back, buck the odds, and win, despite all the predictions against them. In fact, the only thing that would have made this replay better is if I could have seen team chat on the enemy team. I want to see how all the bitching started in the enemy team as soon as it looked like they were going to lose. I want to see them all pointing fingers at each other and playing the blame game, spitting their dummies out and throwing their toys out of the pram, throwing tantrums. Have you noticed that? Whenever your team starts losing, it's never because the enemy team are better than you, is it? It's always because your team sucks. Nobody ever seems to just, you know, give the enemy team credit for playing better. They're always pointing fingers at people on their own team. I don't know. Human nature, I suppose. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. I really do love seeing this kind of game where the underdogs just beat the odds. And well, that's pretty much it for today. Short one, but I hope you found it entertaining anyway. As always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.